Oh, it's too late, bro. Bitcoin's too expensive. I don't have enough money. I'm not able to buy Bitcoin, bro. I'm just gonna buy Dogecoin because it's only 7 cents, bro. Got a lot to learn, buddy. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Gen Z BTC. It's me, Satoshi Guapamoto, and today I'm gonna be telling you why low-key, yeah, you're probably too poor to buy a Bitcoin, but you are not too poor to buy Bitcoin. Low, bro. Lock in for a second. Here we have the price of Bitcoin, okay? It's gonna be one Bitcoin equals approximately $100,000. Depending on when you're watching this number is gonna be way low. You're gonna say, oh my gosh, you guys were so lucky. You were able to buy it at 100K, but for right now, we'll keep it 100,000. Now, $1 can buy you 0.0000912 Bitcoin, or it can buy you 912 Satoshis, okay? What's a Satoshi? A Satoshi is the same as a penny compared to a dollar, right? So a dollar is made out of 100 pennies. A Bitcoin is made out of 100 million Satoshis. Now, you can call them pennies or you can call them cents, right? You can call them Satoshis or you can call them sats, okay? So that's what I mean by, oh, you can buy $20 of Bitcoin every day. You can buy $50 of Bitcoin every week. You don't need to buy a whole Bitcoin all at once. If that was the case, trust me, I wouldn't have one. Most people wouldn't have any, but you can buy bits and pieces. It's the same with stocks, okay? Most people can't afford an entire share of Berkshire Hathaway or one whole share of Apple or a whole share of Tesla. You can buy $20 worth. You can buy a fractional share. You can buy a fraction of a Bitcoin at a time. And that's the best way to do it. That's the way most people are going to do it. You're going to dollar cost average, DCA. You're going to dollar cost average into Bitcoin. Why are you going to do that? One, it automates your ability to invest, right? A lot of people have a hard time investing. They sit there and they're like, well, I don't want to part with my money. It's too difficult. You have to make the conscious decision. When you automate it, when you set up a DCA every week, every month, every day to take out a certain amount of money and to buy Bitcoin, that makes things easier. Two, you're dampening the volatility. When you set a dollar cost average and you set it for every week, every day, every month, it doesn't matter if it's up, it doesn't matter if it's down, that dollar cost average is going to hit and you're going to be able to flatten out some of the volatility of Bitcoin. You're going to buy the dips, you're going to buy the highs, all going to average out. So it won't be as crazy and it won't be as emotionally draining, right? Some people, they look at the price, they get depressed or they get euphoric, they get emotional. And that's not what you want to be when you are investing, when you're saving, when you're switching out of the old system into the new one. You don't want to be an emotional trader or be in an emotional state of mind. You just want to automate the system. That way there's no thinking, no emotion on your part, only consistency and discipline. So every day you need to be stacking sats. That's why I say you got to stack sats or die trying, because at the end of the day, it's not going to be about the dollar price. You're not going to look back and say, oh, my Bitcoin is worth $30 million. The dollar's going to be dead at that point, bro. No one's going to care about dollars anymore. It's going to be about how many Satoshis do you have. When you start walking into the grocery store and there's a denomination in dollars and there's also a denomination in Satoshis, okay? There's a denomination in Bitcoins. Yeah, these apples are all 15 Satoshis each. That's when it's going to matter, oh, how many Satoshis do you have, bro? We don't really care about how many dollars you have. How many Satoshis do you have? That's the name of the game. Every time Bitcoin hits a new all-time high, you need to be stacking, okay? Because there's going to be another all-time high after that one, and you need to have more Bitcoin than you had previously at that new all-time high. So when we have pullbacks like this that are 15%, 20%, these are baby, all right? These are rookie numbers. You got to pump these numbers up. There's rookie numbers in this racket.
Pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
Shout out to Bitcoin Simply or Simply Bitcoin, right? Shout out to Rustin. You know what I'm saying? When are they going to have me on the show? I don't know. It depends on you guys. You got to share the videos. You got to @ Simply Bitcoin. Hey, get Gen Z on there. You know what I mean? Great fit. That's amazing content. Anyways, you got to be stacking sats while there's pullbacks. So once we get back to the all-time high and make a new all-time high, you have more Bitcoin than you started with, okay? You want more Satoshis over time. This is the main thing. This is all that matters. All right, whatever you're doing in life, you need to be trying to maximize how can I leverage this to get more Satoshis. Okay, you're going to start your business. You're going to start washing cars, whatever you're doing. Ask yourself, is this going to generate more Bitcoin for me? All right, am I going to be able to use the proceeds to arbitrage the dollar and Bitcoin trade? Will I be able to sell more dollars to get more Bitcoin over time? That is the main thing. That's what we need to focus on. If you're wondering about my crown, I'm going to wear this on the flight to DC, and I'm probably not going to land. Probably going to get arrested. I'm going to ask for a water, and it's just gonna all go downhill from there. You know, she need me in the stomach.
May I please have the water?
You know, who knows what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about. But that's all I have to say, dude. Yes, you cannot afford an entire Bitcoin all at once. You can probably get there if you start dollar cost averaging hard now, because this number is only going to further escape you. The race to one Bitcoin, the race to the new American dream is only going to continue to escape you the longer that you wait. You need to start going hard now. You need to go full maxi as quickly as you can. Now, of course, that costs education. That takes education. It takes time. You're not just going to start buying $50 of Bitcoin a day with no knowledge on what it is or why it matters, why it's important, why it's so powerful, why it's transformative. But if you take the time now to start researching, digging, while everyone else doesn't care, while everyone else is ignoring the great wealth transfer that's happening right in front of our eyes every single day, it is transpiring. While people are ignoring that, you start to get on your grizzy, you start to get on your grind, you start educating yourself, teaching yourself about money, the state, and how Bitcoin separates money from the state. And that's when you start bigging up your DCA. You're like, oh, you know what? I need to double that. Oh, I need to triple that. I need to start smash buying, and that's how you get to dollar cost averaging $100 a day, right? For most people, that's insane. I can't do that. That's for sure. But there's a lot of people with bread out there, There's only 21 million Bitcoin and there's over 50 million millionaires. So if every millionaire wanted one Bitcoin, they couldn't have one. So once those guys start realizing that real estate is actually not their greatest asset and that their stock portfolio is literally losing bleeding value in comparison to Bitcoin, they're all going to have a mad dash towards Bitcoin. Bitcoin could even become a Veblen good. We're going to talk about that in another video. But basically, if you don't have Bitcoin now, you're probably not going to have much in the future either. It's going to be harder and harder to acquire because people like me are going to keep on buying it every single day, and we're not giving it up. I'm going to sell clothes before I have to sell my Bitcoin. I'll sell my car before I have to sell the Bitcoin, bruh. You know what I'm saying? So there's some people who go really hard for this. There's some people who really do this. Michael Saylor's not going to sell the Bitcoin. He's going to sell everything else before that. And he's buying thousands of Bitcoin every single month. There's not going to be any more left for you, little bro. So just something to think about. So in the meantime, as we race towards 1 BTC, how about you race towards 10,000 sats, then 100,000 sats, then 1 million sats, then 10 million sats. That's 0.1 Bitcoin. Then 0.21, 21 million Satoshis. Because the goal in life in the future will be to become a satillionaire, not a millionaire. A satillionaire, someone who has over 1 million Satoshis. That will be the new elite, the new upper echelon, the new master class, right? Because they're going to have all the purchasing power. So it's a pretty elite club. It's going to be hard to get there. It's easy now. It's only going to get harder every single day. So make sure you're doing what you can to try to make it. If you enjoy this type of content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Share it with someone else who might also find it interesting. And I will see you guys in the next video, my friends. Remember, stack sats or die trying.